And today I want to go over with you something that I noticed in the comments a lot, and I think from my experience is what a lot of people struggle with, and this is accuracy. And accuracy in my fishing is really important, and I think it's a really important factor in many people's fishing, but people do struggle with it. Now, the basics of accuracy is actually quite easy to understand, and of course, as we get further and further out, accuracy becomes harder. There is also a lot of factors that we can't control. We have things like the wind, that's going to have a huge factor on how hard it is to be accurate at range. And the bows in the line, height of cast, these are all factors. A lot of it is hard to control, but what I'm going to talk about today is body movements. Now, body movements is really important for good accuracy, and as I was saying, the further you cast, the body movements change a little bit, so it gets a little bit harder the further we go. Let's first go through the mistakes that I see when people are trying to be accurate. The first mistake I see is from their feet. Their feet aren't lined up properly. Now, if you're a right-handed caster, your left foot has to be pointing towards the target. If you're a left-handed caster, you can just reverse everything I'm saying. So your right foot will be pointing at the target. Okay, but a lot of times I don't see that, and their feet are a little bit all over the place. The next mistake that I see when I'm talking about accuracy and when I'm watching people cast is that they place their left hand over the target. So what they do is they put their left hand over the target, they're in that position there. Say that I was aiming for the camera here, left hand's over the target, but what that actually does is put your right hand a little bit offset, so it's not actually going towards the target. And when they cast, they'll cast like that. The rod takes that path. Often they let go a little bit early, so the lead will go high and right. Now, what you have to understand is that the lead or spom or bag, whatever you're casting, just follows the path of the rod. So it follows the rod. And if your rod is going right at a target, and if you let go early, which is a huge mistake, it's always going to go high and right. And I think that if you're struggling with your accuracy, you will relate to that a lot. So what I'm going to show you here is a basic setup, just standing there. It changes a little bit as we get more expansive and more powerful with our casting, but let's just work on the basics first. Let me show you how you have to set up to be accurate. Now, to be accurate, we've got to go through a process. We've got to go through the right process, and the first thing that we're going to do is have our left foot pointing at the target. We must have our left foot pointing at the target. Also, the setup of the rod must be the same. You must have the drop in the right place all the time. You must hold the line and the rod in the same place every time. We are trying to mimic the same movement over and over again. This leads to consistency. So your left foot at the target, feet position, so you understand what I'm saying. This is for a right-handed caster. Your left foot needs to be going towards the target. You need a comfortable stance, and right foot nicely spread with your heels in line to the target, about that width. Okay, this is just for basic casting, when we're standing there and we're not trying to be more expansive with one or two steps. And from there, we've got to get in a position to cast. Okay, so your left foot's at the target, then your right hand has to go up high, and your left hand has to be left of the target, just slightly left of the target. This is really important, because what this does is allow a path for your right hand to go at the target. And what we're trying to do is get our right hand to go at the target. Now, it's sort of like throwing something. If you're going to throw a ball and you're right-handed, you're going to throw with your right hand at the target if you want to hit something. And what happens in a cast is If the rod goes towards the target, the lead or whatever you're casting goes towards the target and it goes straight. But there's something else that you have to do as well. When you're lined up to cast, left hand left of the target, as you cast, your right hand's got to go at the target, but you cannot let go too early. You're trying to let go towards the end of the cast, because if you let go early, you're always going to go high and right. And a left-hander will go high and left. Because look what happens. We're like that. We're set up to cast. The rod takes that path. And if I let go there, if I let go in that part of the cast, that's going to go high and right. What I'm trying to do is let go there towards the end of the cast. Then everything's going to go straight. Also, for accuracy, you do not want to cast too high because you're creating these bows. And if you create bows in the line, when you hit the clip, you're not going to actually be on the spot. You're trying to cast it in flatter so the line tightens and takes out as much bow as it can, especially if you're casting into winds as well. The higher you cast, the more bow you're going to get. I am going to cover this on later videos when I'm out fishing, which I'm doing next week actually, and I'm going to get that on video. But these are really important parts of the cast. As we get more powerful and expansive, things change a little bit, and I'm going to cover that when I'm talking about casting longer. But for accuracy, please follow what I've just said. Also, if you could like this video and you could subscribe, that would be brilliant. I am trying to build the channel and your support is really appreciated.